We've been seeing some by-elections happening in different parts, in different wards within the country. And yeah, we've seen Kitale protests happening, which of course were due to the by-elections, and among other few other places where there've been by-elections happening, and unfortunately they've gotten into protests and even some politicians beaten up, their bodyguards' guns stolen. It's been pretty chaotic. And we've seen Octopizzo being one of the people who's gone online to give his 2 cents about the matter. And I will quote from his Twitter, aka X. He said this: "Today, by-elections have revealed how far we still have to go as a democratic nation. Watching seasoned leaders resort to conflict instead of principles shows that while growing older is inevitable, growing up is not. When elections involving fewer than 1 million participants cannot be conducted credibly and peacefully, we must pause and reflect on what this says about our political culture. This is a call to all politicians and parties and leaders in government and in opposition. The responsibility is collective. And in this moment, you have fallen short of the standards our country deserves." As Surya has mentioned at the beginning of the show, a lot of these by-elections are happening, and we're seeing a lot of opposition coming to extreme measures just so that they can get the votes working out the way that they want them to work out. You have one party who is diligent, they're not really intervening in the counting of these votes, none of that. And then on the other side, we have someone who's very keen on making sure that it is their party that wins, their party leader that wins, the opposition that wins. And of course, nobody who has lived in Africa, has been in an African election, will be okay with that. Will be okay with the opposition leader standing there waiting for the count to be done. Like that is quite literally intimidation. That's voter intimidation, because not only are people who come in and vote uncomfortable with voting because I'm not too sure my vote will count anyway, there is also the fact that this person who is then now having to sit down and count these votes is not going to be the most comfortable to announce that, oh yeah, you guys have lost. Like, anything could happen to them. I feel like it's very uncomfortable for you to be, it's like sitting down doing your job and then your boss is literally standing over you, looking at what you're doing, your every move. It is quite uncomfortable. And of course, the rallying of people to cause chaos,
to disrupt things,
to disrupt the system is quite unsightly. Unfortunately, it looks like both us and the politicians have a long way to go. Because even us as regular Monanchis, as we're going to vote, if your mind is clear that you are just going in there to vote and go home, it can't just be that easy. But if you decide that you can be you not only incited but intimidated quickly, that will also go a different way. Our job is to make our voices be heard. Why are we then echoing what the politicians are saying? Where is your voice in all of this? You know, if you're voting for you. This is your choice. Why would you let someone be in your ear telling you what to do? You've seen what has happened. You've seen what your political, the person you want to vote for has done for you, the policies they've made, the changes they've made, or the ones they're promising to make. And you decide, yeah, this is the guy that I want to. Why then do you know, PSCC Kenyans tukona mambo mingi. So I think it's a collective issue here where we need to be smarter, and politicians will just immediately fall in line. Because politicians pretty much are the mirror. What we want is what we often see. Yeah, if someone can lie to you about a wheelbarrow, which you for sure have never seen any politician giving anywhere. In fact, in their whole political history, they are not known for giving anyone to anything, for giving anything to anyone. But then this one time he tells you, yeah, I'm going to give you a wheelbarrow. And you're very quick to say, hey, but you a wheelbarrow. For what? For why? Where is your Do better, Kenyans. Do not be deceived. And for the politicians who are trying to rally masses to work against each other and to disrupt these elections, by elections, we're not even in the main elections, you all need to do better too.
I think the thing that really stood out for me was how low voter participation was. Because if you're counting the votes, you would see like an MP has won by all of 16,000 votes or 9,000 votes. So before we start talking about things, before we start, you know, being angry and, you know, putting out think pieces on Twitter and saying how the systems are not working, can we all go register to vote? If you have not registered to vote, go and register to vote, because it's one thing for us to be very upset about what is going on, but what are we doing about it? You know, we just can't be all the time online, you know, trying to protest online. Our voice just can't be online. We have to do the talking and do the action. We have to be out there in the streets so that you know, so that you're accountable to yourself. In 2027, when you vote for Wamudhende, you know you voted for him for a reason. When you vote for Karish, you voted for him for a reason. That way you're able to hold him accountable. But I feel like sometimes Kenyans have this mob mentality, and only like opinion leaders shape your opinion. Why don't you become involved? You know, don't be that person who says, oh no, politics is just too much for me, I don't want to be involved. You are part of the problem. And anyone trying to take advantage of the system is counting on your ignorance, is counting on your I don't want to be involved. You know, that is what they're counting on. So don't be cool. It's not cool to not know what is going on. Please be involved. Watch the news. At kidogo kidogo to pass by, know what is happening, and then shape your own opinions. Okay, we good. Oh, but those by-elections were crazy.
It is.
Some were funny, especially the interviews.
Yeah.
Hizo zilikuwa zinanimaliza, but apart from that, it was just sad how everything was
like
playing out.
when you take a step back, you just realize how much ignorance and arrogance there is combined. People are so ignorantly arrogant. You know, kifua yako yote to say what? Nothing. Nothing. Ebu, let's go and register to vote.
Register to vote right now.